live from Los Angeles. Welcome to Good Morning LaLa. I'm Dr. Erin.
I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm Jez Moye. This is Good Morning LaLa, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Also available on Apple TV and Roku via the EverTalk app.
That's right, and it is hashtag Wealth Wednesday. It's less than a week away till we have Q4, so we're going to talk about setting our goals for Q4 in our personal and professional life. We come together each day to know the truth, live on spiritual principle, align with universal law, and I don't know, hang with my BFF.
Yes, I love that. Exactly. That's exactly right.
Rain on hashtag Wealth Wednesday. We are so excited to welcome our very special guests to the show. Good morning, everyone, back in the studio.
Good morning.
Good morning. Drew Leahy is in the house. He is the managing partner of Hawk Media and Hawk Capital. Break it down for me, Drew.
Hawk Ventures.
Hawk
Venture.
Yeah.
All the above.
Which is in alignment with Hawk Media, right?
That's
Money
correct.
meets media,
Yep.
genius can happen.
Yes.
So tell us, Drew, how do you start your day? What's your morning routine?
Yeah, so every morning I look at something called the 5 daily values that I have, and I reflect on the day before and see, checking my sort of mental boxes. Was I growing? Was I moving quickly? Was I doing all the things that I want to be doing every day? And so it's kind of like a morning reflection, and then I do a little bit of meditation.
Top 5 values. So what are those top 5 values?
Yeah.
Oh, I look at them every morning, but the main ones that I'm looking at are like, was I working fast? Speed is a big part of sort of being in the startup world. Am I growing? Am I keeping true to my values and the things that I care about? And am I helping other people grow? That's a really important piece for me.
Fantastic. Love it. You're in the right spot here. Good morning, LaLa Land.
Fast or efficient? I'll go with efficient.
Yeah.
I want the best of both worlds. Kate Scudder is in the house. She's an incredible business coach, a TEDx speaker. Good morning, Kate.
Good morning. So happy to be here.
So what's your morning routine? How do you start your day?
I start it the same every single day. For me, energy is so important. So the first thing I do is have lemon water every single day. I literally can't think of the last time I missed it. And then I go for a 5K run. So anywhere between 5K and 5 miles. I do it every single morning while listening to a high vibe playlist that I add to all the time because it just gets me pumped up and ready to go.
That's amazing.
That sounds like a perfect morning.
I know, it is a perfect
Yeah,
morning.
it's a perfect
You know what else I've noticed is how many people drink like lemon water in the morning? There cannot be any lemons left in LA. I mean, it's unbelievable.
I've been doing it lately.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Oh, well, thank you so much for being with us. Olive Kim is in the house. She is the founder of the Creme Shop, the best of skincare and beauty in LA and South Korea. Good morning, Olive.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Oh, we're so grateful you're here with us today. So tell us, how does an entrepreneur like you start her day? What's your morning routine?
So I wake up every day and then I just am thankful. I take a few minutes to be thankful about being healthy and alive and just being in this world and planet. And then I also have warm water with lemon. And then after that, since I am in beauty, I have my 8-step skincare routine.
8 steps.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Wow.
I don't want to take 8 steps to get to the gym half the morning.
It's actually quite easy once you get the hang of it and faster than it sounds.
Well, thank you so much for being with us. Best-selling author of Rich Bitch is in the house. Nicole Lapin, good morning.
Oh my gosh, these guys are so much more on their morning routine than I am. I feel like I have a red eye and try to take my lashes off from the night before. That is like my morning routine these days.
Well, you probably spend your nights counting that money, so
Yeah.
it's understandable.
What can I say? Stacks on stacks. No, I try to start and end my day with gratitude, but the rest of the day is pretty chaotic. So a good journaling exercise. I'm gonna have to try the water lemon thing. I'm on it. If
Well,
there are any
that's
lemon
part of
left.
becoming Superwoman. You can add that secret to your 3rd book.
Thanks, lady.
Well, thank you all so much for being with us. We look forward to continuing the conversation later in the show.
All right, good luck finding those lemons. Boy, it's incredible, isn't it?
I've been doing it lately
Have
because
you?
my throat is still, I've got residuals from my losing my voice for like weeks on end over the
Oh.
summer. So just still nurturing.
Well, it's now that
those.
sexy raspy thing you got going.
Yeah,
you
but
know?
it's not good. It's supposed, but it's not good. I can so I got to take
Feel it.
care of the voice.
Maybe you need a little better body foods. I've got some coconut MCT oil in the house, gearing up for International Coffee Day.
Oh, wow.
What's
So
that?
a few of our friends sent over some MCT oil, which helps with fat loss, overall health, wellness, and focus. And the latest and greatest, who isn't drinking oat milk nowadays?
Wow.
Talk about trend, right? This is organic oat milk. I love it.
I haven't made the transition yet. I'm still in the almond milk thing, so I have to try.
I like
oat
that.
milk.
I like the coconut also, gives you a little bit of stomach. But it's so funny. It reminds me of I have a dear friend in India. He literally is a guru, and he laughs and laughs. Everything's a joke. He literally is enlightened up. And so we were talking about this because, like, what do you eat if you're, all the things you should or shouldn't eat, and da-da-da. And he goes, we're going to go out and celebrate. And I go, well, do you drink alcohol? He goes, we do. We drink alcohol. I was going, interesting. He goes, we don't do dairy, though, because that hurts the animals. But so we just drink alcohol, and then we're only hurting ourselves. I thought,
Yeah, until you have too many, and then you get violent or whatever it is.
I'll drink to that.
I thought that was
That's pretty
so
funny,
though.
actually. Yeah,
We don't want to hurt
appreciate
the
that.
animals, but we'll hurt ourselves.
I appreciate that. At least his mind is on compassion.
Hey,
Treating people
Whatever
and animals
it is,
well.
right?
Exactly.
So what's going on, you guys?
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
Yeah.
Hump day.
I know, right? It feels like a Wednesday. Unbelievable.
I have no idea what day of the week it is. Do you guys
The only way I ever remember is because you remind me. I mean,
Right.
literally, like, is it Tuesday? Is it Monday? I know it's not the weekend because we're here.
Right.
But other than that,
I always know because of our very special guest.
Yes.
Hashtag Wealth Wednesday. I'm gearing up to go to Catalina Island. I'm super excited for Groove Island
Yes.
happening. We are going to be there on Friday for some special event coverage, so that'll be a good time.
found out yesterday that a good friend of mine from like 15 years, he's actually a friend of Lee Dahlberg's, which is the way Erin and I met. Jason, his middle name is actually Party Young, is one of the people that helped throw the parties there.
Oh,
At Groove
wow.
Yeah, unbelievable. Knew him from Miami.
Pause. His name is Party
His
Young.
middle name is Party. Yes.
Oh,
Not
say
Party.
your
I know.
meaning is in your purposes is in
How
your
incredible is
pretty
that?
name.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Well, I'll go ahead and
Yeah.
send your love to Party.
Absolutely. Well, today is Wealth Wednesday, talking a lot about wisdom, our career, and all the above. So it is Q4, October 1st, and I don't know about you guys, but we in Society and in my life, I track everything by quarters. So I
Yeah.
think it's like exciting. It's like a new year every quarter. I love it because I get to clear out everything, put new intentions,
That's
all the
proof
stuff.
that you're an entrepreneur because you got to file taxes
Yeah,
quarterly,
that's
right?
right.
Yeah.
And you consider it a quarter. I call it seasons of life.
There you go.
Maybe that's because I'm from the Midwest, and so my life was literally dictated by the seasons.
Yeah,
Right?
true.
But it's really interesting how, because it is synonymous with quarters.
Yeah. So just an invitation for you guys to take the time in this next quarter to really, finish out the year. We've had an amazing year. I
Yeah.
think it's important to reflect and really celebrate everything that you have done over the last quarter or the rest of the year, and then thinking about what is the number one intention
Yeah.
for the quarter and whatever that is.
I love that.
What do you think yours is?
It's always peace for me. I mean, I know it sounds like redundant, it sounds like a broken record, but to be quite honest with you, when you spend so much of your life not experiencing peace, it becomes a very high priority. And when you also experience other things and you realize they don't provide peace, I think for me, just peace is priceless. So for me, it's always about peace, and whatever sort of unfolds from there, I'm open to receiving, but I'm not really that intentional about having to create certain things. I do want to finish my books. That's always
That would be
important. I'm
good.
getting real close.
So you're gonna have them done by January 1st?
I know, hopefully, of 2025. That's the way it feels
Let's
sometimes.
set the intention right
Yes.
here, Rob. For
Yes,
one of
that's-
them?
Well, actually, I have them almost all done.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
so I just,
there you go.
That's great.
Well,
What about you?
because he's not writing just one, he's writing 6 at the same time.
Yeah. Well, what happened was it was initially one book, and then what happened? You begin to dive deep, and you realize these are each separate books, and they can each be, separate expressions, really. So I realized that was a much better use of, instead of having like books that are 1,000 pages long. Who
Yeah.
wants that?
People
I want the
something.
volume of Rob Mack.
Oh my gosh!
volume.
I'm waiting on your book, Jess.
Well, TBT.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be in Q1 of next year. This year in Q4, I'm really planning for like the final quantum leap, massive success as an entrepreneur, as a television host, in love, as a partner. I feel like I am more ready than ever just to really receive and to really fly. So I'm doing my part, and whatever that is, to be ready.
Oh, I love that.
I love that.
Any quick tips and tricks from either of you on how to set goals that work and that people can stick to?
So goals, there's 3 types of goals, and I've talked about this before on the show, but number 1 is just a very linear, like I'm gonna pay my, car payment again next month or whatever.
That's good.
There's, like
Especially if you want to
basic,
keep the car.
yeah. Second is like, I'm gonna gradually like move up a little bit better, kind of almost cultural standards of what we do. And the third is what we call, it's like a point of power, like a place where you get a little bit excited, a little bit nervous, and I completely concur with you around, I just like hand it over to the universe. There are no like goals, but at the same time, I think it's fun to play in the mind as
Yeah.
far as like what's possible,
Yeah.
and really play with that magic wand that we have. Like, where would that go that would be like exciting and kind of putting me out of my comfort zone?
Absolutely. I love that. Anything to work for you, Jess?
Oh, all of my goals are like category 3. Big time, financial freedom. I want the house. I'm not playing small. I am playing big and betting on green. And green is this girl right here.
Smart woman,
I would say I do love that, Jess, and I think that's profound, and it's something I've learned more and more over the years, I guess, is to like think globally, but really act locally. Because it can become overwhelming. You set this big goal and you're like, oh my gosh, it's gonna take me 25 years to achieve that. You're done before you start. You know, so it's nice to think big and then scale it back and say, well, what's the one thing I can take, one step I can take today to move me in that direction and not get so overwhelmed by like this huge project or career that you feel is this goal.
The one thing.
Yeah.
This 1 hour, what can you do?
Yeah.
That's
And
right.
as long as you've done your best, that's enough.
There
You
go.
just have to trust in the universe.
But we will judge you about that. We always think you can do better.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I have my goals, but I think more for me, it's about honing down organization, things like that, just really embodying the mindset and the skill set. And, you know, this year we launched Society, and it's been an incredibly successful year. And we're doing the final touches on just all the organizations so that it runs like a machine.
Yeah.
So that you can free up new energy and create what's next with scaling in the company and in other areas of your life.
It's such a good point because sometimes you get wrapped up in the idea that you need to learn more or know more. But if you just applied what you already knew, you'd be way more successful just based on that alone. It's like that Bruce Lee expression. I don't fear the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but the man who's practiced one kick 10,000 times. But it's like pick that one thing, apply it, and you'll find results.
I consider that living in your magic.
Yes, it is
I like
like
that.
magic. Yeah.
There you go. Well, let's we'll take a break. We come back. We're going to talk to our great guests about how they are creating wealth and lives that they love. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Where can you watch the stories of people changing the world? EverTalk TV, the Netflix of talk. I'm Jez Moyer, the co-founder and host of EverTalk TV, and I am thrilled to introduce you to America's first live video streaming talk show network.
I'm so excited to be here on the couch with all you amazing people.
Yeah.
I'm just in complete awe. Thank you.
Happy to be here. And for those who don't know, there's a lot going on here. You do this every day.
Live.
God bless you guys. I mean, people, there's a lot going on.
Thank you for having me. This is an awesome studio. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Oh, you
I feel that, actually. I feel that.
How exciting Motivation Monday. And the guests this morning have been incredible.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here with you.
We have Rachel Boston, who is in The Last Bridesmaid on Hallmark. It actually is dropping tomorrow, the 22nd, right?
It is. Tomorrow night's our premiere.
Woo!
Congratulations. I am so excited to welcome Jason and Ashley Waller to the show. Congratulations on the new beginnings. We're so excited for the premiere on MTV tonight.
Thank you guys. We appreciate it. Thank you.
The book is actually being shipped out today. It published this week.
What?
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
You guys are
Super
the
cool.
first show that I've actually done talking about the book.
I think this is my first time my book's been up on TV. This is awesome.
Our friends at Universal Pictures have a special delivery for us this morning from a tethered himself. Have you seen the film Us by Academy Award
my
winner
gosh.
Jordan Peele?
You know, I'm sitting here next to you guys, and it's just like, this is a powerful moment for me. Like, you know, I'm humbled by it because it's like I'm sharing this movie with you guys, and you know, it's moving for me.
What are you most grateful for today?
I am so grateful to be here and to have the opportunity to be with all these wonderful, badass boss babes and with all of you. And it's just a wonderful opportunity to share the positive messages out in the world because I think the world really needs it right now.
What we have done and thanking me for the contribution we're making to their lives.
Oh,
And I thought,
nice. That's
this
great.
is what my purpose is. This is why I was born. Now,
Show the camera.
up to you to choose the winner. Is it Annie? Is it Haley?
That's why I like this show. You know, years ago I did the Dinah Show, which is Dinah Shore, and it was a daytime show. And it was kind of like this. It was just like very up, and it was all positive stuff. They didn't bring negative stuff to the audience. And that's why I feel with this show. It's very relaxed. You know, it's very professional, but it's quite a bit of fun.
You can binge watch and binge watch.
You can binge watch.
And you can binge watch, or you can binge watch. Please binge watch. You can binge watch
and binge them on EverTalk TV. Thanks for coming. Bye.
First TV experience. I'm so happy I did it with you.
are you. Anytime, anywhere, on EverTalk TV, your home for talk. Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning Weiland. I am so excited to welcome Drew Leahy to the show. He is a dear friend of mine and the managing partner of Hawk Ventures. Drew, I'm wondering, what was the inspiration to starting this venture fund?
Yeah, sure. So I was running the angel investments for Hawk Media, which is a growth marketing agency, one of the fastest growing agencies in Los Angeles. And I realized their investments were doing extremely well. And so I said, guys, we have something really unique here. We can help these companies grow. We're making great investments that are returning. Why don't we go get outside investors and do larger check sizes and help companies in an even bigger way? And so Hawk Media was started by Eric Huberman and Tony Del Mercado. And so they're my partners, and we decided to start the firm together about 1.5 years ago.
Interesting. You know, Ray Dalio, I'm sure obviously from venture capital, we know who he is. He started one of the largest VC funds in the world, and he has a book, Principles. So I'm curious to know what principles you guys live by that's had you have success.
Yeah, so something that we're really, really strict on is kind of our investment thesis. I actually like to call it more of like an algorithm. It has lots of ins and outs, and we're very principled in the way that we invest. We're very focused on 2 sort of sectors, but most of those investment thesis and principles are about how can our media agency do more than just invest into a company with capital. It's how can we actually help them grow. And so there's a lot of check boxes and ways that we're able to say, hey, I can help this company grow. And if I can't do that, then we're not really doing our job as investors. And so those are the principles that we look for. So can I take a company and introduce them to our clients? Can I take a company and have some sort of competitive edge with the way that I'm able to grow them? And so all of those principles are super important to us.
And what about like conscious commerce? What about giving back or hurting the planet or things like that? Is that anything that you guys take into account?
I love looking at businesses like that. Social impact businesses still have to make money at the end of the day. Obviously, you see companies like Tom's who've done extremely well with their one-for-one model. It's not like a huge part of our business, but it's really important for us that we're aligned with the founders on the impact that they're creating.
So tell us about the companies that are in your portfolio.
Yeah. So I believe one of the founders was on your company, or was on your morning show, Ann Kavanaugh from Stereo.
We love Stereo.
Yeah,
so
Stereo,
fun.
one of our first investments that we made. We're investors in a company called AirVet, which is a telemedicine for pets company here in Los Angeles. We are investors in a company called Jaguara, which is Portuguese for Jaguar, but it's a growth management platform based in Denver. And then we're also investors in a company called The Sill, which is a direct-to-consumer plants company online. They were a client of ours for 14 months and exploded out from under us. And so we really wanted to support them and get in even deeper with them. And then we also invested in a company called Postscript, which is an SMS for e-commerce, basically software. And so we're really big in investing in the Shopify ecosystem, which is how a lot of entrepreneurs begin starting, selling, and putting their products online.
What I also love about Hawk, though, is you're providing a platform for startups to pitch you guys.
That's
the
right.
Hawk Cage. Tell us about that.
The Hawk Cage.
Yeah, absolutely. So we filmed our latest version of the Hawk Cage last night. We've done about 5 of them so far. And so we're just kind of waiting for the right moment to kind of unleash all of the Hawk Cage on the Los Angeles startup ecosystem. But yeah, we invite a handful of companies each month to come and pitch Hawk Media and myself and several investors. And so for us, it's kind of like a fun version of Shark Tank where there's no check, but it's really about getting down to the brass tacks of what they're building, how they're building it, asking questions. We field questions from the audience as well. So my marketing experts are asking questions about marketing and growth, and it's just a cool interactive experience.
We hear a lot, like, betting on the jockey and not the horse.
That's right.
So what do you guys look for that you think, you know what, this is a good one?
So the baseline for me is the company doing $20,000 to $100,000 a month in revenue. So I always say I'm not investing in starting companies, I'm investing in growing them. So that's super important for me. I love working with founders that have expertise either in their field or have started multiple businesses. So this is somebody who's not their first rodeo, right? The other thing is we really mostly invest in software and media and technology that we can use as an agency, use with our clients, use with our partnerships. And then we also focus on consumer tech. So if we have data in a particular industry, we have tons of information based on, the fact that we've worked with over 2,000 brands at this point. Those are the companies that we look for. On the jockey side, it's interesting because founders and CEOs have vastly different personalities, but that personality has to link up with the rest of the team and the vision, and it all kind of has to work together. There isn't like one type of founder type that I'm looking for personality-wise, because they just vary a lot.
Do they vary a lot? Like how?
Absolutely.
Interesting.
I mean, I have pragmatic women CEOs that are, they don't move super quickly, but they're very good at making decisions, and they're not a bull in a china shop kind of CEO. I have male CEOs who have like charisma that will like bring down the moon if they were in a meeting. And it's like, but you can't all be like that. Like a software company probably shouldn't have some kind of founder like that, but it makes a lot more sense for a consumer technology company. So it just really varies based on the product service industry. So yeah, it's all over the map.
It's got to be fascinating.
Right?
Yeah.
Totally. So let's say that there's a growing company out there, and they're growing, they're not a startup, and they're interested in entering into the cage and pitching to you guys.
Yeah.
What do they need to know in advance in order to pitch well?
Yeah, so I mean, basically, the Hawk Cage is a 10-minute pitch. It's a typical investor pitch, but I'd like them to focus on the growth elements of their business, the sales and marketing side. So I like them to kind of go more in that direction. But it's cool because you're not only pitching investors, but you're pitching the media agency as well.
Super cool.
So cool.
So Drew, tell everyone where they can find, follow, get more information.
So hawkventures.com, Hawk with an E. And that's where they can find more information. We're pretty active on LinkedIn. Hawk Media as well is super active on social media. We provide all sorts of tips for entrepreneurs and people growing their businesses. So if you're a part of the Hawk Media ecosystem, you're going to hear a lot about Hawk Ventures and the Hawk Cage as well.
Love it.
Fantastic.
So great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Drew.
Thank you.
Stay
Thanks for
tuned. We'll
having
be
me.
back with more on Good Morning LaLa. Where can you watch the stories of people changing the world? EverTalk TV, the Netflix of talk. I'm Jessica Mollier, the co-founder and host of EverTalk TV, and I am thrilled to introduce you to America's first live video streaming talk show network.
You can binge watch and binge watch.
You can binge watch.
And you can binge watch, or you can binge watch. Please binge watch.
You can binge watch and binge them on EverTalk TV. Thanks for coming. Bye.
Entertainment that will inspire, uplift, and empower you. Anytime, anywhere on EverTalk TV, your home for talk.
Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning LaLa on Wealth Wednesday. There's a big talk about women entrepreneurs in the house, which is Kate Scudder. She's a business coach. She basically you help women scale to 6 figures and up, helping driven women scale. Very, very, very important. She's a TEDx speaker and all the above. And you just moved back from Bali.
I did.
So we're like soul sisters.
Yes, girl.
From Bali to Boston,
Yeah.
that's got to be a shift.
Oh my gosh, massive transition.
So how did you, in 1 year, create a multi-6-figure business for yourself in online coaching?
So for me, there was a lot of, when I finally pressed go, that's when it all happened within a year. But I spent, I'm sure, like a lot of women, most of the women I know, twiddling my thumbs, thinking about getting started, and just really holding back. During that time, I learned a lot, but I also spent a lot of time on the sidelines. And I think that part of what happened for me is because I waited so long to take action, when I finally did, I was just all in. And I think that, I believe so much when you are completely committed. That's why I say I help driven women, because when you're driven and you're all in, you can create results super fast.
It's so important. I do think that it's like the application process or working with somebody. Like, as a coach, how do you know that they're committed?
So one of the things that I do, and I actually teach this in some of my sales programs, is I pre-qualify all of my leads, whether it's for a group coaching program or an individual coaching program. It's so important for me to understand and to really know both where someone is at in terms of their either ideation or where their company is already at, but also their values and how important. One of the questions I ask is, how important is it to you to see the results that I'm reading that you say that you want? And that question is really strategic because it helps me know, is this person going to be all in? Because if I'm showing up for you, I'm going to give you 150%.
But let's say they go all in and their business is booming. How do you control the chaos that can come along with that laptop lifestyle?
So, such a good question. The real answer is you can't. You can't control the chaos. I think that anybody who's in business knows that there are always going to be things that are outside of your control. I think the more important question is, how do you learn to live with the uncertainty that being an entrepreneur brings? And how do you learn to develop the muscle of trusting yourself and responding to situations? So I think there are certain skills that are required and that can be developed in terms of forward planning and avoiding, circumstances that can bring a lot of additional chaos, but also learning to be quick on your feet and roll with the punches and really trust yourself as your own CEO.
Yeah. I wonder, I listen to, of course, lots of podcasts, watch lots of interviews with entrepreneurs or senior entrepreneurs, and lots of them are very convicted about saying, look, there's no such thing as work-life balance when you're an entrepreneur. And, other people disagree. But what would you say, what's been your experience, and do you believe that there's a sweet spot where you can have work-life balance as you're continuing to sort of build a business or at least getting it started?
That's such a good question. And I think it's so important, especially in the social media age that we're in, because, where at one time, going on Instagram may have just been for fun. Now, if that's part of your business, it's also part of your business. I believe, look, for me, the things that I apply, I don't respond to clients at night. I'm not online at night. I might be online checking things. I might be on social, but there are certain boundaries that I have. I think another really helpful work-life balance technique, something that I've implemented, is having certain times of my schedule. I mean, controlling your schedule, it's a whole nother topic, but so important as an entrepreneur. And I think it really helps contribute to developing more balance. So there's certain times that I do, I work with clients, certain times that I'm talking with my team, and then times that I'm offline. And if I want to be on social, great, but it's not for my business.
There's a reason why they call it an organization.
Yes, exactly.
It's challenged me.
Being organized.
Oh my gosh, I know.
So much so.
So true.
So where do you see, we've had this huge influx of women entrepreneurs and women rising and where do you see all of this going?
Such a good conversation. I see the rise of women in the business space. I see the rise of women in the personal development space, in the self-development space, really contributing to a greater conversation where I still think that women, the conversation is very much women rising up, but I think that when we achieve some actual movement in that area, it's really going to be a conversation of how are men in their power and women in their power collaborating and creating together at an equal place.
And to truly be in your power, though, you have to understand your niche.
Yes.
So how do you really help your clients nail their niche?
Such a good question. I love this topic. So first of all, I want to say, I think a lot of people approach niching thinking, I've got to become hyper specific. Like I'm a, life coach for Aquarians or something hyper. Yeah. But I think what's really interesting is when it comes to niching, we don't actually have to add anything else, add anything extra. What it really is about is understanding what you already are that's different and how you're going to express what you're doing in a way that's unique and has a tangible point of difference. So the first step that I always encourage my clients to take is getting hyper specific on the problem that you solve for your clients. You don't need to tell me that my ideal client is Jessie, she's 32, a graphic designer living in New York, wanting to change. I see a lot of people approach it from like an ideal customer avatar worksheet perspective, when really I think it's like, what's Jessie struggling with? What's her day-to-day life look like? And what's the ripple pain that not solving that problem is causing to play out in her life or business? If you can speak into that, you're nailing your niche.
I love that. I completely agree with you about that, like particularly around the personal branding and being clear about your niche. And we talk about this a lot on the show, that like, you know, your greatest problem points to your highest purpose. And that's true in personal life, but also your professional life. For you, what's been your greatest challenge and what do you feel the most conviction around when it comes to coaching other people?
Such a good question. So for me, my greatest challenge, I'm a highly creative person. I'm a highly action-taking person. Sometimes I can move faster than I can even keep up with myself. So the way that I've dealt with that is making sure that I have really high quality support at different levels of my business. I think that one of the most important things for women to keep in mind, anyone really to keep in mind when it comes to growing a business, is the need for head support, like strategy, vision, knowing where you're going, and hand support. So people to help you do things in the business so that you're not working, 21 hours a day, and really are able to maintain that balance.
We're all for hiring things out.
Delegate.
Well, tell people how they can work with you.
They can find me at katescudder.com. They can listen to my podcast. I talk about a lot of my programs there, but katescudder.com is the best way. And I'm always active on Insta as well, so they can find me at Kate Scudder.
Great. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be back with more. Good morning, La La Land. I'm Jessamine Moyer, host of Good Morning La La Land on EverTalk TV. As a little girl with big dreams, I couldn't stop talking. I turned that into a career at premieres, at red carpets, and even a talk show. And recently, I had my aha moment. I was hosting a live event. A woman who represented a national cancer support community gently pulled me aside from the glitz and the glam, and she thanked me for mentioning their program on my show. Because of those few words that I had spoke on air earlier that week, one of our viewers battling cancer reached out and got the financial and emotional support she so desperately needed. I'm so grateful to have experienced that moment, a moment that truly reflects how much conversation and community matters. We need more of what matters. It is my passion and purpose to create content and lead a conversation that will ignite the light in my community and empower them to live their best lives starting today. I'm Jessamine Moyer, and I'm a host on EverTalk TV. Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. We are so honored to welcome Ade to the show. He is an LA-based award-winning filmmaker. Congratulations on the success of your latest, The German King. Tell us about it.
Well, The German King is the true story of King Rudolf Douala Mangabell. He was a Cameroonian king who was raised in Germany, and he basically came back to Cameroon and found out that his people were being subjugated and oppressed and killed under tyrannical colonial rule, and decides to stand up and do something about it.
Wow, let's take a look at the trailer for The Last King.
Our enemies will try to make you forget who you are.
Die beiden sind beste Freunde. Genauso wie du und Rudolf in diesem Alter waren.
Guten Tag, Kaiserin.
Ein perfekter, schwarzer deutscher Prinz. Würde das dir gefallen?
Yes, sir. I serve at the pleasure of the Kaiserin.
Know that everything I did so that our people would be free.
What's the matter, Rudolf?
The Kaiser is like family. We raised as brothers to go against him.
Wilhelm is not your family. Your skin will always be the color of the rich Cameroonian soil. And they will always walk over it as if they own it.
Your family would rule under German protection. So why did you turn against us?
Your father's new ideas of independence are a cancer. I fear have infected you too.
Aber mit der Hinrichtung eines Jungen startest du einen Krieg.
Ja, sie sind schon im Krieg.
They're inside the palace.
Feigling, lass mich sofort frei.
Wow.
So
Ade,
beautiful.
The production
Thank you very
design
much.
Yeah.
is incredible.
Thank
Where
you.
did you shoot?
We shot this in Cincinnati.
Wow.
I'm sorry, Cincinnati, Ohio?
Cincinnati, Ohio. Yeah,
Wow.
that's where we
So
filmed it.
you do films that matter, and this story obviously matters, but why do you feel this film really matters, the story?
Well, I think the story matters especially now because it's about one man who stands up against injustice. And it shows the importance of using your voice to say when something's wrong. In a time when you see so much oppression all over the world, there's so many people being persecuted because of the fact that they may be LGBTQ, or they might, be, whether it's their creed or, skin color, anything, And I think the fact that Rudolf Douala Mangabell, who's a man in a position of power, but he said, I'm going to use my voice to stand up against injustice, and he made a difference ultimately.
Wow, just incredible. So what did your journey with this film originally begin?
Well, it started with me just being frustrated as an actor and as a filmmaker, and just seeing that a lot of the stories that we're seeing, the portrayals of African people, the portrayals of Africa, were overwhelmingly negative. We would see Africans just being portrayed as savages, poor, in need of being saved, famine, disease. And I said, you know, let's just rewrite the narrative. Let's show ourselves and through the same lens that I see myself. And I wanted to show the world how I saw myself ultimately. And I sat down and I spoke to a bunch of my friends and I said, what kind of stories do we want to tell? And they said, well, we are descended from kings and queens. Let's show that. And so I did.
I love that.
Incredible. Wow.
So tell us a little bit about your personal journey to getting this position. I'm sure there's lots of people out there would love to tell some great stories, but they don't know how.
Well, I realize it's easier than you think. I remember there's this quote, and it's Chinua Achebe says, if you don't like someone else's story, you write your own. And I said, okay, I can have a pen, I have a paper, or my laptop. And I said, let me write my own story. And what I realized was there's so many people who wanted to see these stories made, and there was so much support. We started a crowdfunding campaign. And a lot of people just said, okay, well, we want to see ourselves represented and reflected on screen. Let's contribute. And then we got a financier on board as well, and I financed part of it as well. And that's how we made the film.
Do you remember the moment as a young Ade, you made the decision to be an artist, to become a filmmaker?
I did. I did my first film at 12 years old. I did a movie called The Great Elephant Escape with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And it was, we're just these little kids trying to save this elephant from these poachers. And I remember thinking, I love being an actor. I thought being an actor was one of the greatest experiences ever. However, I also realized that I found myself gravitating towards the producers and the director and seeing what they were doing. And I think for me, that was the genesis of me becoming a filmmaker.
Wow, just incredible. What do you think the best decision you've made in terms of your career and your professional life? Is there anything that you've either done, maybe you've done it once, or maybe you've done it consistently over the course of your career that's allowed you to experience success?
Yes, I think working hard, to be perfectly honest. You have to work so much harder than you think you do. And I remember thinking, I mean, nothing's given to you, nothing's owed to you. And I realized, wait a minute, Adetokunbo McCormack, you can do whatever you want. And living in this country that encourages you to, go after your dreams, and you have all these tools available to you to go after your dreams. I said, let me take advantage of that as an American citizen, and why not, and do it. So
work hard. What a concept.
It's exactly.
So deep.
That went down in the 80s, that hard work thing.
Congratulations again on the success of your film. Please tell everyone where they can find and follow your journey.
You can follow us on, our website's GermanKingMovie.com, and you can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Adetokunbo, or follow the film as well at German King Movie on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook.
Fantastic.
Thank you for all your work. Yes.
Thank you.
Stay tuned. We're right back.
Yep.
It is hashtag National Sour Candy Day. We want to thank our special friends from Pucker Powder for treating us today.
Hey, what is this? What is? I don't know. It's like a.
Leave it to the DIY.
It's a sugar hookah. This looks like what I would fill up my car with, the tires. The air thing.
For those of you watching who haven't met Tanya Mimi, she is an Emmy-nominated host.
Oh my God, you're so
Southwest House, the Homer Colton family. She's a DIY expert, and she's always up for a challenge. So why not give her this sour? Here we go, Tanya.
Oh, come on.
Woo! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
Come on.
She's up for it.
Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning LaLa. On Wealth Wednesday, we want to make it happen with Lapin. We're here with Nicole Lapin's in the house. She's a New York Times bestseller. She's a new book, Becoming Superwoman.
Yeah.
I'm already super. We're already
Right?
Superwoman.
Yeah, you
We just
are.
Remember that we're Superman, right?
And
No,
Superman.
I love it.
Yes.
I love that.
I love that. I appreciate that.
Right?
And apparently, you don't need to be Superwoman because you are at the airport all the time. You fly.
That's true.
A lot.
That's right.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the wind beneath my cape. So, Nicole, how did you become the first woman ever to be named Money Expert of the Year?
I don't know. Maybe it was a fluke. I kind of snuck in there. You know, I'm the least likely person to become a money expert. I grew up in an immigrant family, first generation American, never had the Wall Street Journal on the kitchen counter, never talked about stocks or bonds. Like maybe I knew Bond Girl, but I just needed a job really early on. And I started out in news. I worked in small markets, as you do in news, before I got up to CNN and CNBC and all of those fun networks. But I was offered a job on the floor of the Chicago Merc instead of what I thought was my dream job at a Milwaukee CBS station, which my life had other plans for me. And they asked me if I knew anything about business news, and I said, absolutely, I love business news, and I totally lied.
That's the right
I
answer.
faked it till I made it
Yeah.
because I needed a job.
Yeah.
And then I figured out how to just love what I did and love the opportunities that I had. I didn't have the luxury to do what I love, as a lot of entrepreneurial experts will tell you to do. So I just realized that money is a language like anything else. We just don't have a Rosetta Stone for it growing up. We learn a lot of ridiculous things in school, like how to do geometry and how to dissect a frog. I don't know why we need to know that in this world, but how to do our budget and do taxes and a business plan. I think that would be way more valuable.
Just saying.
Just saying. But yeah, my boyfriend in high school said he wanted to be a hedge fund manager. I thought he wanted to be in gardening. So girl, I don't know what to answer your question. I don't know. I'm the least likely person to do it. If I could do it,
media and
anyone
PR.
can.
It's good media and PR.
But when was the moment you realized for yourself that you had innately become one? You were speaking that language, and fluently, mind you.
Yeah, so not only was I speaking it, but I was speaking it to the world casually. And then fast forward about a decade later, I never expected I would be teaching other people how to speak the language of money as well. But yeah,
So
it's not complicated once you figure it out.
Right,
It's
so
like
the-
if you went to China and you didn't speak Chinese, you would be very
Yeah, what happened? So let's talk about your book, Becoming Superwoman. What does that look like?
So Superwoman, not the character, the one-word version, but the space is super important because the space allows for you to put your oxygen mask on first before helping others. You know, I thought I needed to be Superwoman and be all things to all people. So ultimately, I was nothing to myself. And I think therein lies the real danger. And so after a breakdown, mental, emotional, and physical breakdown that stemmed from a severe burnout after the launch of my second book, Boss Bitch, I had to rethink everything. And I realized that actually self-care is the biggest asset or liability in your career. When it's off, it can bring you to rock bottom. And when it's on point, it can actually bring you more success than you ever imagined.
Totally.
You know,
So true.
I love you saying that. I think a lot of women and men struggle because they think of self-care as like more to-do items on their already lengthy to-do list. How do you make it simple and easy to weave the self-care in so that it doesn't feel like additional work, it feels like actually relief?
So I did a social experiment with a bunch of women, and I asked them to list the top 5 things they value. They listed awesome things like my job, my house, my husband, my dog, whatever. None of them wrote myself on the list. I mean, if you guys think about it, like what would you list as the top 5 things you value? The top 10 things you value, would you even be on that list? And so I think it was really that mind shift to put a ring on it. By the way, I put like my own ring on my right hand.
Love that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Even if I have one on this hand, you know, the most important relationship is the one you have with yourself. And I didn't know that. I self-prescribed work for a long time, and I thought I would be happy or I would be balanced when I got there, a certain job or a certain salary. And then I got there, and almost immediately I changed the goalpost on myself. And there was always another there, right? So I never got my brain to the other
there.
side.
That's right. I love that.
Right.
I love that. I mean, I think it's so important, and I agree. Like when I'm burned out, my creativity is the highest thing that I value because I consider that my authentic self. And it's like if I'm burnt out, the creativity just goes. I'm like, oh, the life force is down. Self-care goes up, and your creativity goes out the roof.
Yeah, you can't be of service to anyone else if
Doesn't
you're
work.
crashing and burning yourself.
Crazy.
And there's no external solution to an internal problem. And for years, I thought there was. But it will kick your butt. I had a lot of childhood trauma growing up. I didn't even know that was a thing until I came across a PTSD diagnosis. And I didn't even know that was a thing that people who didn't go to war could have. But when I figured out the problem, I could actually address it, and it took away some of its power against me. So yeah, all of my books are 12-step plans. And the first step is
Self-care.
Admitting you have a problem.
Yes.
That's step 1 through 12 as well.
I think I would have failed that test, but I appreciate the passing on the technicality.
You got it.
Fantastic. So when would you say you're the happiest? I mean, you're an author and you obviously work a lot, but you're also focused on self-care. Is there a particular moment when you're happiest? Is it when you're at work? Is it when you're home? Is it somewhere between?
You know, I think balance and happiness looks different for everybody at different times. So I don't wish that I had a so-called more balanced life in my 20s when I worked, 18 hours a day, because I wouldn't have this platform that I have right now. And so I don't look back wishing that I didn't have PTSD. I just look at it now and reframe my biggest problems, or what I thought they were, as my biggest superpowers, because they made me who I am. So I think my happiest moments now are when I'm writing or when I'm talking to women. I'm so amazed, like the events that we've been on for this book, like women are crying. It's a whole thing. It's awesome to see folks IRL, because we're so URL all the time. We're gonna get a little.
So
more
what do you really want to be remember for on your, on your deathbed when it's all said and done? What is the number one thing that you really want to be remembered
It's
for?
actually interesting, because I talk about that in the book as one of the tips to write out your eulogy, to think about where your purpose is. And when people don't, think about their purpose, money without meaning is just paper. And so it's something that can keep you motivated. And so when you start writing and you start crying, I always say, ding, 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 that's the purpose. That's really where it is. So like if you write, I want to be, remembered as the congresswoman who fought for women's rights, like, are you running? Like, what rights are you talking about? So for me, I would love to be remembered as someone who helped women with financial literacy, getting their financial and business lives together, and
so important.
Taking care of themselves.
I don't think we can have spiritual freedom without financial freedom.
Amen.
Yeah.
Well,
All
thank
right,
you for
great
helping
job.
me break those
Thank
chains, Nicole. Please
you.
tell everyone where they can find and follow you.
At Nicole Lapin, wherever social media is sold, and wherever books are sold. Becoming
You're such a
Superwoman.
boss, bitch.
Thank you.
Sorry.
So are you.
Stay tuned. We'll be back
Thank
tomorrow.
you.
Good morning, La La Land.
Hi, I'm Dr. Erin, host of Good Morning LaLa on EverTalk TV. I'm a doctor of divinity, and I absolutely love being a host. And the reason why is because each day I wake up and I come into the studio and I'm always blown away by the amount of different stories coming together. My mission is to awaken 1 billion people. And I have been blown away to realize that it's not just the spiritual people, that we talk to people that are on reality TV, we talk to actors, we talk to people who have had incredible stories and trials and triumphs, and there's a common denominator between all of them. Every single person desires to have a greater life and awaken to the best life they can live. I'm Dr. Erin, and I'm a host on EverTalk TV.
Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. We are so excited to welcome Olive Kim to the show. She is the founder of an LA-based brand with a South Korean heritage, the Creme Shop. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
And of course, for the presents, gifts are a love language. True wealth.
Right.
So tell us about the brand.
So the Creme Shop is, like you said, an LA-based beauty brand with South Korean heritage. We cover everything from skincare to makeup, eyelashes, super cute beauty accessories, and we have the most luxurious quality without breaking the bank.
And everything is cruelty-free,
Everything
right?
is cruelty-free, yes. Very important.
Very important to La La Land.
And we have our Creme Shop mascots too, Bear and Latte, so...
Bear and Latte.
They're 2 dogs, yeah.
Awesome.
That could be more Instagrammable. So what was the secret behind your success, Olive?
I want to say hard work, sweat equity, a real passion for cosmetics and beauty, not just because it's like a trending thing right now, but really devoted to bringing amazing products and just working with amazing people.
I love that. So let's check out some of the products.
Yeah. Are we okay?
Yes.
So these are what we're known for. This is one of our animal sheet masks, and this one's a narwhal.
A narwhal mask?
It's a narwhal. So it has vitamin C, so it's cute and very efficient as well.
Okay.
And then this is our pumpkin spice mask. It has the goodness of pumpkin and cinnamon.
Why is that great for you? Why is the pumpkin and cinnamon? What does that do?
It's brightening. The cinnamon helps with blemishes, anti-inflammation, inflammation, and then we also have hydrating properties in there as well.
I know that.
And of course, you're going to need a headband to do that mask.
Especially you, Rob.
Of course,
Right?
a soft
for sure.
fleshy headband.
I'll rock that all day right there. I'll look at that.
Eyeshadow.
So this is our I Am Radiant Beauty Water, and it is a priming and setting spray, or you can just use it over bare skin throughout the day. This one's made with Akoya pearl serum and hyaluronic acid. So
This is
very
cool. What would you say folks love most about?
I think they love the fact that we're very eclectic and whimsical. We are all inclusive. I think that being all inclusive is like a trend right now, or it's become a thing in the past few years. For us, it's just innate in the brand identity. So I think they really like that about us. We cater to everybody, and again, bougie but affordable.
So I know that you're also very active in the community, especially with LGBTQ.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
I mean, the Creme Shop has a lot of LGBTQ employees. A lot of our natural following is LGBTQ, and we're all about giving back. So we've done a lot with the LGBTQ Center. And yeah, it's not anything special. Again, it's just innate in our brand identity.
I love that. So nice.
So what is your mission with the brand?
The mission with the brand, we want to continue making the most amazing, cutest products, and just utilizing them to make everybody happy, and of course doing good with the profits that we make.
We know Korean beauty is very trendy right now. What do you think is the secret of that?
I think the composition of, number one, the super beneficial ingredients, and then of course the very eye-catching packaging. I think what the Creme Shop has done really well is they've taken sort of the Korean beauty ingredients and has done a really great job marketing it to our market.
Absolutely, and you're gonna have a launch party, right?
Yes, we have a launch party for our new skincare line tomorrow. Y'all are invited. And it's amazing. It's some of our new ample serums, oils, and essence potions, which is an exclusive formulation to our company. So we're very excited to share that with everybody.
Oh, thank you. Olive, please tell everyone where they can find and follow you.
It's thecremeshop.com or at the Creme Shop on Instagram and Twitter, Facebook. Yeah, follow us.
Fantastic.
Thanks so
Appreciate
much.
you.
Thank
We
you
are
so
Good Morning
much.
LaLa, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. All of today's interviews are available as a podcast on iTunes, and the whole show is streaming at EverTalk TV on Apple TV and Roku.
That's right. We're waking up the world. You guys have a great Wealth Wednesday and have a divine day.
It's going to be a Good Morning LaLa Land.
Check out the